G'day guys, in this video let's dive into pain and exercise. So how much pain is too much when exercising and how much pain is acceptable when exercising. So in this video I want to specifically just talk about tendon, okay, and I want to talk about muscle. Alright, now the other thing is that I don't want this to be confused with children. We are mostly talking about people that have reached skeletal maturity in adults, as that if we extrapolate this to kids, we might be talking and barking up the wrong tree. So this is definitely not talking about kids. This is talking about people that have reached skeletal maturity. Okay. Now let's just start off with tendon. Let's start off with an Achilles injury. Okay. So, if we've got a foot here, believe it or not, we'll just say foot. So Achilles tendon at the back of the foot there. This person comes in and we know that when they run on a Monday and they run for 8 kilometers, okay, they get let's say, just for argument's sake, an 8 out of 10 pain, okay? And then they do that twice a week. So somewhere around here, let's say this is on like a Friday. They tried 6 kilometers and it was, 7 out of 10 pain. So we've got an 8 out of 10 pain when they did the 8K and a 7 out of 10 pain when they did the 6 kilometers later in the week. So why might this person be getting sore? Well, quite often there's a boom bust cycle where he exercises or she exercises. 8 out of 10 pain when I ran. Okay, come right off. I'm not going to exercise for the rest of the week. All right, I'm feeling better. Awesome. Let's go exercise. I won't go as far, 6 kilometers. It's sore again. I'm just not ready. Take a few more days off. And this tendon, this Achilles tendon over here on the left, guys, it's just getting underloaded progressively over a long period of time, and they're getting this boom bust cycle of exercising a lot, and then it hurts, so I stop, and then I have a few days off, but no, I'm ready, no, sore again, okay, a few more days off, and then they might follow this pattern for weeks, maybe even months, and eventually that tendon just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So if we don't allow this person to actually exercise with a little bit of pain, we end up in trouble, and this person gets quite fed up and quite sore, and then maybe throws in the towel, and that leads to a whole bunch of other problems. So quite often with tendon, because it's a tougher tissue than a muscle, and it's a white tissue, so it doesn't have a great blood supply. So what that means is it's a little bit more resilient. It's a bit tougher. It doesn't feel the effects of the load as much as perhaps a muscle does. That's more vascularized, and inflammation and stuff is more effective in tissues that have a bigger blood supply due to circulation. So what this means essentially is that tendons can take a bit more punishment. So we're quite happy, at least I am as a physio, to allow people in general, as a general rule, to exercise up to a 5 out of 10 pain. Now this might mean that instead of running 8 kilometers, we're running 5 kilometers, okay? But this will mean that he can calm or she can calm down a lot faster, that we can probably do a reload earlier in the week to maybe a lower amount of exercise, to like a 3 kilometer run to maybe even a 4 kilometer run, where they're not getting as much pain, and then we can reload them with a slightly heavier run again, back to that 5 kilometers. And what that means is that we can build up kilometers in this Achilles, make it stronger, or allow it to tolerate exercise, and then over the weeks, this 5 kilometers that's at a 5 out of 10 pain will turn into a 6 kilometers, but still only be a 5 out of 10 pain. Same again. So this little run in here, which is maybe at like a 4 out of 10 pain, at 4 kilometers will turn into 5 kilometers, but still only a 4 out of 10 pain. So you can see how the tolerance is getting better. The pain's the same, but the tolerance to exercise is getting better, so they're running further with less pain. Or they're running further at the same level of pain, meaning that they're improving, okay? Now, the reason why we say a 5 out of 10 pain, it's still, if we look at our little chart here, it's still an acceptable amount of pain. Okay, when we're not getting into the severe levels of pain, we're not stimulating a huge inflammatory onset, and that the pain they get can recover. So I like to think with tendon people, a 5 out of 10 pain is acceptable. But the main thing is that, and over here, I think a 5 out of 10 pain is acceptable, but I want the person to then think, okay, 24 hours later, am I okay? So when they wake up in the morning, so come back down to the bottom here, guys, with the blue line, Our bloke does the 5 kilometre run, gets a 5 out of 10 pain. When he wakes up the next day, he might have a 2 out of 10 pain in the Achilles, but it goes away by the time the afternoon rolls around, which is when he did his run. So essentially, he ran at, let's say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the Monday. Tuesday, 4 o'clock rolls around, and he's back to an acceptable 1 out of 10 pain or a 0 out of 10 pain again. So we know that he's ready to go again because his ankle has calmed down. What we find a lot of the time is that people will exercise. Like in the red line here, this guy in the red line, he's exercised too much. So he's exercised this 8 out of 10 pain, and it takes a few days for this pain to calm down. So he can't actually exercise again. And so it's just about getting that relationship right. It's not an exact science, but the idea is that we exercise to a point that we know that we can recover quickly so that we can exercise again. Now, in muscle, as I said, is a more vascularized tissue. It's got more blood supply, so it flares up quicker. We might only want to sort of test the waters around like a 3 out of 10 with this person, okay? So, same principle applies. Let's say we've got the same runner, but it's a calf injury instead of a tendon injury. Let's use a different color here. So we'll go green. Oh, no, not green. Let's just go purple just to confuse everyone. All right, no, that looks terrible. All right, now let's go back to that green idea and make it fluoro or something. All right, so this person with the calf injury. All right, so they come up to that 3 out of 10. Calf gets sore, a little bit tight by the end of the run. Let's say they've run 5 kilometers again, just for the sake of keeping it consistent. He's run 5 kilometers, calf gets tight. But 24 hours later, the pains come back down to baseline. So we know that in a day later, he's ready to go again and he can run again. Now, depending on the amount that he runs is up to the training program. But we know essentially that he hasn't done any harm to his calf because he's run, he's tolerated it up to a 3 out of 10 at the 5 kilometers. He's come back down. 24 hours later, it's calmed down so that by the time he's had the rest on the Tuesday, the Wednesday's here, and he can exercise again, and maybe it'd be more like a 3 kilometer run or something like that. He then obviously would recover from that, and then we can get back into a bigger run later on in the week with the 5 kilometers. So that person's now tolerated with that rule, and if we know that they come back in and in fact they didn't actually reach a 3 out of 10 after a few weeks of following this cycle, and the 5 kilometers they're only reaching, let's say, later on a 2 out of 10, then we know we can increase the load. So this is the idea of the pain rules, guys. In general, I think we can stick with tendon around about that 5 out of 10, muscles, that 3 out of 10. But the idea is that we've got a plan and that we're sticking to the plan, and because we've got a plan, we are able to load or exercise our patients effectively, and you, the patient, has the tools to know whether or not running is a good idea. So you've got this idea about your pain, looking up the corner here. You know that I'm going to exercise that 5 out of 10 pain, and I want to make sure that in 24 hours later I'm pretty good. And if you're not good in 24 hours, it just means you just take that other day off. Now, if you run into snags in your training, you think, I should have been a little bit higher up this week, I should have been exercising a bit more this week, it just means you just got to stay at the level that you are able to tolerate longer. So it might not mean that you can go up every week. It might mean that you just need to hold that same level of exercise that you're at until your tendon or till your muscle undergoes enough natural changes for you to tolerate. So guys, I hope that's clear as mud. If you have any questions, want me to clarify, do it all again, I'll do my best. Hit me up in the comments. And if you want to support me, please like, comment, subscribe, hit me up. I'm very friendly, won't bite. Thanks for listening, Jim. Thanks, bye.